Okay, please mute yourself wherever you are. You're welcome to tonight's session, and it's going to be variables. And we're still going to look at variables and look at certain things like keywords, how to import keywords. And I've sent this particular Python file to you, which has all what we need to just handle for tonight. I will just be brief. Once it's 9:30, we'll be done for the class. So I think in the last class we looked at how we can give variable names and use arithmetic operations on them, and we ended the session with the paired mass order of operations, and it made it wonderful. We did some brainstorming, and it actually worked for us. So what we're going to do tonight is just going to be more of a let's say there's something we did in the assignment, and it's like more of a multi-line kind of scenario. We looked at trying to create multi-lines, which I did new lines yesterday. When if you do not want to print a particular statement in one line, so you tend to do what you tend to like break it to the new line. That's actually what we did yesterday, and I'm just looking at my notes here, and I'm trying to say, okay, let's do something that well, you will tend to see this as you progress in Python programming, because you may not need to be adding certain values to other ones immediately. So I'll try to share my screen, and let me put on my Chrome. Why is my system very easy to? Actually, my system had issues today. I had to go and restore everything. So all these things are actually new. Maybe that's how it was possible. There are certain things that are not here anymore. Okay, this thing is really good. Wow. Okay. Um, let me share my screen very soon. So, okay. I'm trying to load the collab. Sorry, I had to switch. Everything was off, so I had to start all over again. So this will be a new notebook. Okay, let me share my screen. It's actually necessary for some persons to see what is going on. So, okay, so we can actually get this one to be variables. Variables, I think we're just going to use variable 2. Okay, someone is having issues with the system. Please, you can chat him up. I don't know what is going on. I don't have access to the group right now. I just a notification I saw now. So we'll look at how to do operations when it comes to increments. Maybe some increments you want to multiply a particular increment. For example, let's say we define a variable, let's say A. I think, please, if the screen is bold enough, let me know, or I increase the font size, please. I need to, let me connect the collab. Should I increase the font size, guys, or is it okay?
I think it's bold enough.
It's okay.
Okay, because some persons complained regarding the recordings that it was actually very little when they tried to go through the YouTube video. So if it's okay,
it's not really that bold, Sha.
Okay, so let me increase it. So all thanks to Dr. Shibe that made it possible for us to see this. And so font size can increase it to as big as I think the highest here is 36. I've seen here. Okay, we can save it. Yeah, I think it's bold enough. So if we have a particular when we get as we go along, when we try to build certain applications, we'll be trying to see how we can increment a particular value by maybe like 2 by 3 without just hard coding it all the time. So for example, let me define a variable name. It could be B. It could be B equals to let's say 7. And once we do that, and we say normally we're supposed to say, okay, how do we want to increase this value of B, the variable which is B and which is 7 to, let's say we want to increase it by 1. And let's say, okay, let's remember our comments. Let's say increment. We want to increment. Some person said I was actually very fast. in the last class, so we try as much as possible to slow down. So we want to increment. Remember when I said something about commenting your code? Increment, let's say by let's say by one for now. So let's go down and say, okay, normally we are going to do something like this. B equals to B again plus 1. So it means that if we print the value for B now, it's supposed to, instead of the value for B will now change from, which is 7, is going to change to 8. So if you want to print B right now and shift enter, you can see that the value is 8 right now. We can see that the value is 8. But instead of doing things like this in programming, it tends to be very, very frustrating, and sometimes it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So there's what we call the shorthand increment. Instead of just doing that, you can just decide to say, okay, now the value for B is actually 8. So let's maybe give another variable name. Let's say C equals to, let's say, 56, and we click enter and we print this out, which is already working for us. So we can say print and decide to say print C. Remember that print is a function that brings out the output of a particular program that you're running. So if you click on this and we play it, decide to bring out the output, it will still give you 56. What if you want to increase this in a way that is very easy for us? It's more of like a shorthand for us. We can decide to say, some persons will actually know what to do right now. So we can say something like this: C plus equals to 1. Okay, so now if we decide to say print C, print what? C, you're going to see, I don't know what you're going to see, but I know it's going to be wonderful. So it's simply going to be 57. So something like this. So it's confusing normally. B, for example, B is equals to 7. Increment by 1 is you do the same thing. B is equals to B plus 1, which doesn't really, it's actually correct, but it's always good to actually make some wonders when it comes to programming. So C, which is already, it was defined as 56. So it means that you're adding one to the original variable of what of you're adding 1 to the original value of the variable name C. So you can actually do that for subtraction too. I would like you to try something out, maybe in the chat room, or you can share your screen at some point. Try to do the same thing for multiplication. Try to do the same thing for subtraction, and let's see how you make it work. Okay, can we try it out? Just try it out for wherever you are. Try it out for someone hand is up at this particular time. Please, I will not be able to answer right now. If it's really that important, I will actually answer it at first. You are in this meeting right now. It means that you are okay. Okay. So guys, you can actually try it out. Try out for someone said I can't see my. Oh, I'm looking at the chat room now. Anameti said she cannot see my screen.
No, it's okay. It's okay now.
Okay, sorry about that. So you guys can actually do the same thing for subtraction and multiplication. Let's see how you can go about it. You can put it in the chat room, or you can want to share your screen at some point. Do the same thing. You can define a variable, subtract it, unless we have you can do it on your maybe once you are through, you can just do for multiplication and do for subtraction. Once you are done, you can raise up your hand and share your screen, or you can decide to put it in the chat box. do the same thing, the kind of increments, yeah, maybe instead of increasing, yeah, decreasing by minus. And also the same thing, you maybe want to multiply maybe a particular variable was, you define it as maybe 5, and you want to increment it by, you want to multiply it by 5 using that shorthand kind of multiplying. So you can do it, and if you are done, you can just share your screen, or you can put it in the chat room, the chat meeting chat section. So I'm just giving you just 1 minute more. Once it's 1 minute and I'm not seeing answers, I'll take over. Okay. Okay, I'm still waiting. Or you can write it on a piece of paper, snap it, and send it to us. Anywhere, as far as you're doing something.
Can I share my screen?
Okay, 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 okay. You can share your screen, actually. So I'm seeing a medium this thing for now for subtraction. Okay, pay a message for subtraction. Okay, you can increase your font size a little.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm seeing a medium on to multiply C by 2. Okay, C, okay, subtract. I want you to define a variable name on its own. I don't want you to use my own, Mr. Medium. Use your own, define a variable name by yourself and increase it by, okay, now, okay, I'm looking at your work right now, Mr. Gabriel.
Yep.
Okay, you define X equals to 35, y is equals to 60, z is equals to 76. That increase x by what? By 1. And okay, very good. What did you do to 5? You multiplied it by
Yes.
yes, you multiplied it by 5, and z you subtracted it by 5, and you printed all of them at once. Print x, y, z. Very good, fantastic work. Fantastic work. Is there anyone that is confused right now regarding this thing right now? Is anyone that is confused, that telling me, please, Oga, I don't know what is going on right now? Please, you can raise up your hand. I will call you out if you don't understand what is going on right now. Mr. Gabriel, you can stop your screen sharing. Please, if there's anyone that does not understand what is going on right now, let me know. It just says, okay, OJ, your hand is up. You have the floor.
Yes, I don't understand what is going on because my screen is unable to stack up the way he's stacked up and then print.
Okay, were you able to see my own screen when I was doing that?
Yes, I saw your own screen. Can you go over it again?
Okay, see what will happen here. Maybe Mr. Gabriel will just send it. I don't know if you guys know how to send screenshots. You can just, it's always mine in my system. I use the Windows button and the PRTSC here. Once I click here, it screenshots it and I can send it to anyone on WhatsApp. So okay. So what we
I mean the procedure, like just
okay,
can you
explain it again, right? Okay. Okay, all right. So look at what happened here. Look at, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, someone has shared the picture in the chat room. So what happened is you have defined a variable C equals to 56, what we did in the last class. I hope you know what a variable is.
Yes.
Good. So what we did now, we print it and it's C and it's 56. What we want to do now, said, okay, let's add 1 to this variable C, which is 56.
Sorry,
So we now said,
can you print this 56 again? Like do the C equal to 56 on a new file?
okay, I'm printing it right now. So print C. It's what's going on. Why are you asking that question? You see, your one is not printing.
That's where I have the problem.
Did you?
Like,
I hope you're not using a sorry. Hope you're not using a capital P to print. It's small letter P.
A small letter.
Okay, maybe at the end, or you share your screen, or maybe send a screenshot. Let's try and finish up for what we have for tonight. Okay. So okay, after this, you can send a screenshot. You can actually have see what is going on. So if you want to you want to make it subtraction, you can decide to say minus here, and if you print C right now, if you print C, it's going to be 55. If you want to multiply C by, okay, we can just multiply it. So we can just say shift this, and if you multiply it by, let's increase it to be like 3. If you multiply it, then it's going to be, okay, you can see 165. So okay, I think let's do something. I think that's, guys, if you understood what just happened now, you asked me a question, because I did not define this one again. So immediately I did that, it automatically took this one as 55. So that's when it gave us that particular value. Okay, so we have made it everything straight. You can do the same thing for division and so on. Okay, so the next one we're going to look at is the string operations. We're going to look at the string operations. And remember when I told you something about string operations. So let me just give you the text. I'm looking at time. So string operation. So you know what a string is. Please, if you don't know what a string is, please let me know. String operations. What goes on? What are the operations that strings do undergo? And that are the things that you should do with strings. Okay. So a string is made up of characters. It could be single or double quotes. So most times there's something I want to just do something like this. Okay, let me just define. Let me just say a statement. Just say a statement. So this statement I'm trying to say, guys, what I'm saying? Can just say this is a squid program. Okay, this is a squid program, and automatically, what they call it? I decided to cancel this out, and I put this particular one. If you look at what is going on right now, it's already showing you an error. It means that we must be consistent with our string quotations. If you are using a double quote, it should also end with a double quote, except you are trying to give an apostrophe or try to highlight a particular thing in a code in a particular string character. So you can decide to say, I decide to change this to, let's say, the normal one, which is going to work for us. And then say, okay, maybe I wanted to put this one like a unique kind of thing. Please, you do not use double quotes again. Instead, you can decide to use a single quote and tend to and use this one. So if you print this out, if you decide to print this statement out, okay, shift enter, and let me print statement. Print statement. I think statement was defined already. So if you want to print statement right now, it's going, guys, I made a mistake here. So let me run this first again. And if I print statement now, it's going to show me this is a squid. It's trying to give you this particular one, this single quote now is definitely not what they call it. It's not part of this particular string of, it's not part of this particular string operation now. So it's going to say this particular one is only specifically trying to highlight that we wanted to single-handedly differentiate squid. So sometimes you can decide not to, you can maybe decide to use this one as maybe single quote, and also you can decide to use this one as double. It will still give you the same thing as far as they are the same, is consistent enough. So you can decide to just say this. And if you save this, make sure you always run this first. And if you print this out, it's going to do the same thing in replacing the double quotes, the single quote with the double quote, and your program runs very, very well. So what I want to do next is operations with string. Remember that you can actually carry out, you cannot carry out arithmetic operations using strings. It will not work except you are working on you are working the strings by themselves, or trying to like concatenate, or trying to like multiply. Sometimes the exceptions could be addition, the addition sign, and the multiplication sign, which is different, entirely different from what they call it, the arithmetic kind of operation. So let's see something like that. So let's say we want to print, let's say print 4, let's say print 4 plus 4 plus 3, and let's run this, which is going to be 7. And let's say we want to do the same thing, but we want to add string to it. So print, let's say we give it a string kind of, let's say 4, and I'll say plus, okay. Now say 3 again. And if you run this, and let's see what we have. What am I doing? Okay, we run this. You can see, guys. So a string 4 plus this is 43, which is not an arithmetic kind of operation. This is what we call concatenation. This is what we call concatenation. We're trying to bring things together. We're trying to bring different strings elements or different string characters together. So this is what we call concatenation. Concatenation. You concatenate it. So concatenation, trying to bring in the addition sign when in between the strings kind of operation. And we cannot do subtraction, what they call it, subtraction. We cannot do division when it comes to things like this. So for example, let me just give you an example of a simple concatenation. Let's define two variables. Let's say the one that is very popular. Let's say first name, can just say first underscore name. First underscore name is equals to, let's use, guys, I want to introduce something. Can actually introduce the input function. Input function is going to ask you what you used to see in your or what they call it, your softwares. They'll try to like, they'll ask you what your first name. So let's add a particular input function. It actually tells you to put in something. So you can just say, you can just decide to use, just say, what is your first name, okay? And just say, what is your first name? And can decide to keep what is your first name. You can decide to keep space, and that would actually define a variable for you. And let's press enter, and I say, okay, surname, so underscore name equals to, you can also say the person should give an input. So once you give an input to it, so you can just decide to say, okay, just want you to know what is your surname. Okay, try as much as possible to take everyone along. So what is your surname? So the next thing we want to do right now is we tend to like say, okay, let's run this and keep it somewhere. So we can see it's already asking you what is your first name. And if you put our first name here, just say, please mute yourself wherever you are. If I press enter, it will ask me what is your surname. And decide to say Otu. And please mute yourself. Please, whoever that person is, should mute his or herself. Please, Father Lord. And people should mute yourself. Thank you. I'll answer your questions very soon, guys. I'm just trying to look at time. What is your surname? Okay, I made mistake with my name. So let's see what you, instead of doing this at once, let's just finish up in this line of code. So I tend to enter. So once I do it, I can run it again and say, okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is trying to concatenate the two of them. So I can decide to say first name, just Control C and just paste it here. and I decide to say plus, and I decide to say surname, so underscore name. So it's already showing me here, surname. So, and I decide to say, okay, let me now decide to say, okay, let me decide to say, this is stored in a variable, and I can say the variable is name equals to first name plus surname. Guys, it's almost the same thing. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to do right now. So first name, once the user gets input for the first name, once the user gets the input for the second name, which is the surname, which is what you're going to put, you're now bringing the two of them together and you're concatenating into a variable name, which is name. So we are adding first name plus surname. And if you decide to print this out, you just press enter and decide to print name. So we decide to print name. Well, let's run this and see what it will give us. If it will be an error, if there's an error, we'll try to find a way out. She's asking me for my first name. What is my first name? I can decide to say Advion. And what's the surname? I can decide to say Vion. Okay. So press enter. You can see, guys, once it prints the name, I know it's not really that clear enough, but you can see Advion Vion here. So that is what concatenation does. So what I want you to do right now is there any way you can come out? I'm seeing something different here. A surname and a first name they're supposed to be a space. Do you know what we can do here to make it give a space to this? If you can, you can share your screen and let's make something happen. Okay, if you can try it out, let's see. I need a space in between this Advion and Vion. I need a space. Is there anyone that wants to try it out? Someone's hand has been up since. Okay, this is the time to ask questions. So, Ajay Bede, sorry if I cannot pronounce that word, but I'm trying my best. Do you have any question? Your hand is raised.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening. You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, they are here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, in the case of that, in the case of that increment, like other programming language like JavaScript I do online for YouTube and PHP.
Okay.
Like, what if you say a C now, so plus equals 1, does it work like C plus plus? Compare it to other. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Have you tried it? This thing that you have just said now, have you tried it yourself right now? Me? Yes, I can hear you. This thing that you're asking right now, have you tried it yourself?
Just frustrating.
Okay, maybe later on. Later.
Increments, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Have you tried it? Have you tried it right now? Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, that is other programming language like JavaScript. Now we can just simply do it like that. C now equals instead of C equals plus 1 or C plus equals 1, we'll do C plus plus compared to other programming language.
Okay, thank you very much. There are different syntaxes for different programming language. The other syntaxes, the same, just like speaking different languages. Like right now, speaking English, or could be speaking French, but all of them are trying to communicate. So that's the same thing. It's the language of the computer. It could different. The only thing is that it's doing the same thing, but there are different syntaxes, there are different languages. Okay, so that's how it is, and it could actually. I think that's the only way I can tell you right now. Okay, so there are different syntaxes for different programming languages. Okay, so is there anyone that wants to try that space for yes, is there anyone that wants to keep a space between Advion and okay Gabriel? Okay, Gabriel's hand is up. Okay, I saw Gabriel's hand first. I saw next Lovett. I saw it's showing. Thank God for Teams. It showed the time at which it does that. Okay, so how did you do it? Oh, fantastic, guys! If you can see right now, he kept a space. It added 2 plus, and I don't know if you can increase your screen size if they can see right now. So you added, why did you do this? Because
I wanted to create a space in between, and the space is a string.
And the space is a string. That's what I wanted to know. The space is a string because anything inside, even though you are not seeing anything, as far as there are quotes there, it means that that's a string, and it's keeping this particular string is the space. So that's the nice one. And if you print it out, you can see he printed it out, and there was a particular space for us. Okay, let's try. You can stop your screen sharing right now. And let's look at other things, like let's say we want to looking at the other operations that could actually work for strings. So let me share my screen again. And okay, so we are done with that. Let's go to another one that I can actually work with strings. So let's say we want to do something like this. Let's say 7, okay, asterisk, that is for the multiplication syntax for Python. We now say this is a string character. Let's say this is 6. This is a string 6. So let's see what will happen in this particular operation. Normally we're supposed to print this out, but in Colab, please do not get used to Colab like this. I can decide to run this and it will give me a result. But normally you're supposed to use the print function. So once you use the print function here, and you decide to run this, you can see what happens here. It multiplies this particular 6. It generates it 6 times. It doesn't multiply here. It's not doing the work of a multiplication. It's just trying to say that this particular string, it's actually making it times 6 of it, or times 7 of it. So it doesn't really like generating 7 this thing of it, not like 7 times 6, which is 42 that year. Okay, I think I still remember something. So that is it for certain operation that could actually work with arithmetic operation that actually feel that you feel that it's an arithmetic operation, but it's definitely not. One is concatenation, the other one is trying to multiply a string kind of operation. So the next thing we're going to look at is, I can remember when Mr. Moses said, how can we tend to get to know keywords in Python? Remember we said we cannot use keywords to give a name of a variable. So how can we make it, how can we, what do you call it? How can we know that this particular word, do we have a list for that? So that's what we're going to look at and see how we can import them into this particular programming that we are doing. So let's import the package. So we say import. How do we get libraries out or packages in Python? Now you can always say sometimes it could be import or from this, import this, and so on. So we are importing keyword right now. So if we import keyword and we decide to run, so we import keyword, and it's working for us. So that there's a green tick bar, so it has imported the keyword. And we now said, okay, now let's define a variable name and let's tag the keyword list and reference the keyword dot and say in this particular keyword library that we have, let's bring in a particular kind of list of keyword, which you are going to see. I'm going to show you right now. Let me code. This particular thing note. I think I sent it to you. So let's define let's say Python. And decide to say Python underscore keyword here equals to. Now what I want to do right now. Now something is going to go on. I imported keyword right now. I imported keyword on cell 21. And this particular keyword is actually a pre-installed kind of library in the Python this thing library there. So what happens is I'm going to call it out, keyword. Now I'm going to add a dot. Dot in Python or most programming language is trying to tell you, oh yeah, I have given you the audacity, I've given you the command to do a particular thing. So in this your keyword, in the keyword library, there are other things that could actually be in the keyword. There could be main, it could be is keyword, is, you can see is soft keyword, KW list, soft KW list. So in this particular one, we want the keyword list. So we can say keyword list as it is there, keyword list. And if we decide to print this out, we can say, okay, enter, and decide to say enter, and we decide to print this out. So let's just copy, decide to copy and do what, paste it here. Once we do this and we tend to run it, and let's see how it goes. So you can see, guys, if you can see my screen, you can see there are a lot of keywords. So these are the keywords you should never use in your variable name. So we have false, none, true, and all these are the names of, if Mr. Moses is here, if he has not slept off tonight, please, he should indicate that he's here with us. Yesterday, I saw his message in the group. He said he slept off, sleep carried him away. Is he here with us tonight? Okay, so these are the keywords that are there in this particular Python here. So at this particular point, is there anyone that has questions? Is there anyone that has question? I think we're actually done for tonight's class. I wanted to make it at least 1 hour today. So is there any questions right now? Any questions someone wants to ask? Then your assignments. Wait, I'm coming. Your assignments, I've sent it. I'm coming. I'll answer you very soon. Sorry. Your assignments have been sent already since this morning. So you're going to submit it before the next class, which is Wednesday. So you have Tuesday. Is today? Okay, today is Monday. So Tuesday you have to submit your assignment. Everything that we have taught, though there are certain things we have not, but I've sent it in the notes that I've also sent along with the assignment. Just go through it. If you have any issues, just check Google. Just try and check Google, which you are going to get it out. One of the things you are going to do in this programming is problem solving. You can get to roadblocks, and you tell me that I don't like this kind of language I'm learning. So just check it out online. There's Python community, there's Stack Overflow. Just always try something out, and I promise you to be very, very rewarding for you. So at this point, I would like to stop my screen sharing and I'll entertain questions. Okay. All right, please, the person that wanted to ask. Yes,
I don't know if you can go back to the screen, please. I wanted to ask, and with regards to the last one you just did.
Okay, sir.
The KW list. Please, can you go back to your screen?
Okay, I'm going there right now. Okay.
Okay, you said keyword KW list. What's the meaning of this KW list? And why did he bring out all these words? That's what I want to understand. If we click in our own system that we've not been using, we've not been doing programming, are we going to get something else? Or is it going to be the same set of words that we are not supposed to use?
Okay, fantastic.
So that's my question.
So these particular keywords are already installed into your Python package already. If you even check your documentation, it's also there. So it's a way of just telling Python to just print it out for you to see it by yourself. It's going to be the same as far as your keyword library is installed into your IDE. For example, sometimes you might need to do pip install keyword at some point when it comes to Python, but your Google Colab will definitely give you this keyword. Once you import it, it's already one of the advantages of Colab is that it has a whole lot of things pre-installed into it, and that's why people are mostly using it for their programming, especially those that are still just beginning. So if you have issues now, if for example you try to run this on your system or your Python, it doesn't work. Now, the error that you are going to get is that we'll try to say that this is not found. This particular library is not found. So if it's not found, check that error, check on Google. You are going to see exactly the same mistake that you have done, which I'm very sure is going to be for you to install the keyword library into your Python IDE. Okay, so why are we using KW list is because it is a pre-installed function or a pre-installed kind of library that we have in the that exists in the keyword library. So you can see when I removed, let me remove this. You can see when I did this, I added dots. It brought out there's KW list, there's main, there's is keyword, is soft keyword, KW list. So these are the things. These are like, for example, maybe someone is let's say, I don't know how to put it. Maybe someone has there's someone, and this particular person has maybe SSC, has BSc, has MSc. Maybe you are trying to call out the function of what maybe PhD, something like that. So it's like saying this person, that's the keyword, has this kind of libraries installed that has different. If I decide to say is soft KW list, it will bring out something different entirely. Okay, so that's what I just want to say. It's pre-installed. It's the same thing. It doesn't mean that I've done any magic or that. It's something that is already in the library of the Python programming language. I don't know if I've been able to answer that.
Yeah. Thank you. I understand.
Okay. All right. Any other questions right now, please?
And then for the second assignment, I was having so much difficulty. So I think I will still look at it again before I ask questions. I've submitted the first one.
Oh, fantastic. That's nice. Okay. So please, I would like to entertain more questions, and I actually want to know hack my system. Please. Okay. If it's here, let me know. Let me know. Okay. Is there any other questions right now? If there's no other question, please let me know if there's any other questions right now. And someone asked me the 100 days of coding. When did it start? How do we go about it? Your 100 days of coding are already started, and I'm not seeing you guys posting things online. You are supposed to be posting it every day. At least every line of code that you have done, just try and post it and tag Adrian or tag anybody at all. And automatically, once it's 100 days of code, potential people tend to see things, especially when we start building complex projects. When we start doing our projects and we try to see, there'll be video sessions of your work that you have done. I'll be allowing you to share your screen. I'll video it and I'll see how I can send it to you, or you also video at your own end and also try to make it work for you. It's very, very important that you post your work and know who you are. So people will tend to like, what can this guy do? Okay, this is how you just have to market yourself so that you can learn the job of your dreams. And so I just believe it's just a matter of, even though nobody's liking that post, but someone has seen it. Just try it out and learn. And upon on that, you tend to encourage you to post more. You post day 1, day 2, day 3, you like, let me continue until you see when you're on day 100, be like, this is how I started. So just try as much as possible to do that. Sorry, I saw your reviews. You guys are saying I'm threatening you with speed edition. Please, I know it's sometimes people tend to run away from courses. People tend to run away from courses. They abandon them and they don't do it to the end. Someone like me, if you don't attend classes, you are discouraging me already. I'll tend to look for those ones that are serious. I sidelight them, I bring them out. I say, okay, let's be having our own classes. The negative energy will affect me as well because it's not easy actually here. So I tend to find a way to keep out time to at least make sure that I break programming in a way that you'll be able to understand. You have still not gone complex. We are still doing it little by little, step by step, and the assignment is also helping us. So if you have any questions, if you have any difficulties, if you feel lost right now, please let me know. If you are lost, someone said, I have not been following the program at all. I am totally lost. Please, it is time to bring it out. If you have any questions unanswered, if you believe, what can I do with programming at the end of this live? What are my intentions? Someone is raising up hand and dropping it, and I know the person. I don't know why he's doing that. And okay, Mr. Sunday Aboyeji's hand is up and he's still standing. Mr. Sunday, you have the floor. We are off. Okay.
Hello. Hello. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening and welcome.
Okay, please. Right now, I'm not connecting with my laptop because of power supply, so I'm using my phone. But
Thank
like
God you joined. Yeah.
I complained early about the power outbreak. I was able to get the
Commit the
information
assignment, yes.
for the
I
first
get you.
for the first class. So
Okay.
like the collab, once I load it, like it's not displaying so that I can be able to interact with it. It's just displaying by the right side. So
You're using your phone, right?
no, I'm using my system, but right now I'm not connecting to the.
Okay, what do you say your system? Have you tried uploading? Did you upload it? Did you upload you
Yes, I
uploaded
uploaded.
to the location in which you downloaded the Python file?
Okay, I uploaded this. I don't know the other step.
Okay, let me try and do something. I don't know. I think, guys, I told you that I lost a whole lot of things in my system. So I don't have any downloaded documents right now. I started my system all over fresh. Like there was this particular machine learning model I was supposed to run on cloud. I never did. I did not know that it was on this root kind of system. So I could have done it on cloud, and my system had some issues when it comes to machine learning models. Like they tend to you have to be very careful. If your system is not as high like that, when it comes to 32 gig and above, it's always an issue. It tends to eat up everything. Okay, so that was what happened. I had to just start all over again. So there are certain things I do not have right now. So someone can actually share the screen so you can actually see how we upload files in to show Mr. Oh, Mr. Bayoli is here. I think he tried messaging me on WhatsApp. I could not respond at that particular time. I'm really sorry. Okay, you have the floor. Someone can actually share the screen and help Mr. Sundaboji to show him how they upload the notebook file. Okay, Mr. Bayeli, your hand was up. Okay, his hand is still up. Mr. Bayeli, please lay your complaint right now. Mr. Bayeli, you have the floor. Lay your complaint. Is there any question you want to ask? Okay. Are we free to use any ID that one is versed with accepts collab? Yes, you can use it, sure, but it should have certain keywords. For example, this keyword, you could actually do something like pip install. So maybe just use collab for now, until I see that you guys are actually strong enough to go into other IDE, especially PyCharm. We really use PyCharm so much. We will really need PyCharm. PyCharm is friendly for Python. So, Mr. Francis, your hand is up.
Yes, I wanted to ask, at that point where you enter, use inputs, please can you share your screen?
Okay. Okay, the part I use inputs, okay.
So for example, inputs. Okay, so you put it as a variable.
Yes, I added it as a variable, part of the first name variable and the surname variable.
All right, so you now have it like this. So what I want to ask is that why is it that when you put that input, it will come out like a GUI? Is it not?
Yes, because that's how it's being
That's the
pre-installed in
input.
Python. Yeah, yes.
So
That
my
sometimes it may not be the same for other IDEs. In PyCharm, it doesn't show like that. To just tell it to impute it, they will not give you something like a space
so
here.
that's the
Like
question. So that's the question I want to now ask. So does Python give you that nice, not all these native looking GUIs? Does it have all these elegant looking GUIs like you are doing Apple? So can you use that kind of GUI inside Python?
there are certain libraries GUI in Python, which in the nearest future you're going to get to do that. But right now, this is the basic one that it comes with. You have something like the Kinta. There's another one. When you tend to import the PyCharm, you tend to use this other one that we tend to, what do you call it? What do you call these other ones? But there are certain GUI, graphical user interface, which could make your work very, very wonderful. But right now, this is the basic one we have for now. It's when you get advanced, you tend to see inputs that you be the one to add code it yourself. You tend to like say, this is how I want it to be like, and the rest. So that is it, Mr. Francis. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. What about Mr. Someone's hand is still up, Mr. Funso
Yeah.
Adekunle.
Good afternoon or good evening.
Good evening to you and welcome to the Adjon program. Yes.
Sorry, I have a question. The link, the Google like the Google Drive link you sent to us for us to check the assignments.
Okay.
When I opened it, I looked at some of the questions. It seems that some of them have been answered.
Fantastic. There is answer. Yes, there is answer, but we want in that answer, we want you to do a particular Python code that will give us the same answer, that bring out that answer when you are trying to pick run. When you are running your particular file, it will now give you that answer. That's the aim of it. You need to see what you want to arrive at and find a way to figure out how to arrive at that.
Okay. All right.
So, Mr. Sunday, thank you very much. I don't know if he's still up here. Can show Mr. Sunday how to upload a Python file from using the Colab. Please, anybody that wants to volunteer. Okay, someone is trying to share the screen. Please, Mr. Sunday, please just look at what someone will do very soon. Let me stop my screen sharing. If someone could share the screen and show Mr. Sunday how to upload the notebook file. Some persons are still up. Do you need me to call you or you still want to talk? Okay, Mr. Francis, your hand is still up. Okay, thank you. Is there anybody that wants to share the screen to show Mr. Okay. Please, if you have any questions, please raise up your hand. Okay. Let me try and share my screen. No matter how, maybe we'll find a way to see how we can make it work for Mr. Sunday if he's still in the meeting. Okay, Mr. Moses. Oh, okay. Mr. Moses, your video is on. And do you want to share your screen?
I'm just coming in, though.
Oh, you see? Okay. There's no problem. Okay, is there anyone that wants to share? Can Mr. David share his screen, please? And help. Is there any way? Okay, Bayeli, your hand is up. You can say something. I've been trying to call you out.
Yes, I can share my screen. What do we need?
Mr. Sunday wants you to show him how to upload a Python notebook into the Colab.
Okay, I do it now.
Okay, just do it now before I answer Mr. Bayeli. The class is officially ended, and this is 9:30 in Nigeria here, and we kept to time, and I'm very sure it is done. Except I think I missed 4 minutes of the class because of the hacking someone tried on me. I don't know if that person. Please help my ministry. All right.
So do we have a view on my screen?
Your screen, yes, you can see your screen right now.
Okay. Let me try something. For example, when going to the group, I will take anyone.
Mm-hmm.